Like making coffee. It was about 5 years ago. Didn't really have that much expectations for this particular coffee. It was actually my first Costa Rican coffee I bought for roasting. I bought them in the past, not a lot, but this one was interesting. It had black honey. I wonder what that meant really. So I looked it up, of course. She's been on the pulp for a lot longer. And then, they do the processing thing. Had notes of whatever, right? All the stuff that you want in a coffee, right? But I was not so much curious how much about the origin, the notes on the bag. Only thing that I really kind of cared about was the honey process. And it was the most intense that it can be. So I was kind of leery a little bit. On one hand, I wanted to taste something, of course, magical, right? We all want to taste something magical. But I didn't really want a natural. And sometimes those coffees can tend to be too fruit bomby up front, and you couldn't taste anything else. So I got this coffee, roasted it, light, medium, whatever. It's 5 years ago. I don't remember. And I was there just waiting for a couple of days. And then I brewed me a cup of coffee. I was like, what is this? I didn't really know how to describe what I was tasting. It was fruit juice. It was actually sweet. I've heard many people talk about sweetness in coffee, how it tastes like this, or this is sweetness, and all this good stuff. Majority of the time in my coffee journey, I've tasted acidity, different degrees of acidity, even in a medium and a dark roast application. So I was wondering what the hell was wrong with this coffee, as I did many times ago with this Kenyan that I had for a very long time. And I sat there and I wondered, did I fuck up? Did I fuck up the roast? What happened? So I just sat there for a little bit. It didn't take me that long to actually finish this cup of coffee. And then to make more brews after that, constantly and constantly and constantly. And then I started to think, this coffee is the most balanced I've had in a very, very long time. And I'm not talking about balance of acidity. I'm talking about balance of acidity and my new fond thing of what sweetness really is in coffee. And I drank it. I roasted some more, roasted a little bit darker, went lighter. It didn't matter as much. I still was able to taste sweetness from it. It put me in a place to where I wasn't before. I didn't really know what to do about the whole situation. I wondered if I just found this coffee and now I get to enjoy it for what it is. Yeah, interesting stuff. And that's more so what we're talking about right now. The subjectivity, the objectivity, and what you perceive as sweetness. Everybody goes through this on their own journey, on their own clock. Some of us won't even really get there. What I'm talking about is sweetness in coffee. Really, what does that mean for you, for me, for all of us? Because at the end of the day, we're kind of searching for more so the same thing. But the trick here is that we all have different palates. We all experience things differently. And no matter what somebody tells us what sweetness is or acidity to that extent, we have to find it for ourselves. We have to determine it for what it is for us. Because It's our palate. It's our mouths. It's our experience. It's our things that we like about coffee, things that we don't like about coffee, in the way we brew it, the way that roaster does his thing. And when we do things like that, we experience something in that cup of coffee, right? And what is that really? And I guess the cool thing about this is that that's not really up to me. That's up to you. Because we can read so many different things on a piece of bag that says that this coffee is going to be sweet because of that. But do we really taste that in our morning brew or our evening brew or afternoon brew or whenever the hell we drink coffee? Are we experiencing those same things? Because at the end of the day, we're just trying to find what sweetness is, what balance is, what acidity is, and different degrees of layers of all that stuff. You know? Because I rack my head so many times about this. For instance, I was talking to a friend. We're talking about coffee. We're talking about light roast. He said there's so much sweetness in light roast. I say BS. And as you saw right now, I just did a recipe. This is a light roast, very light roast. It's kind of hard to tell. I followed his recipe. I don't think the recipe matters, but I followed it anyway, as you saw just now. And I'm just here, just thinking if I'm going to taste some type of sweetness from this coffee at a 1:15 ratio. I haven't yet. More than likely I won't, because it's my palate. It's the way that I perceive what sweetness truly is in coffee. You may be able to decipher what sweetness is in a lighter roast. I don't know. But if you can, that's awesome. You know? Because it's our own palates. It's one of those things that we just keep going down the discovery lane of trying to understand the things that we're drinking. Why we like it, why we don't like it, and so on and so forth. But as I sit here right now, and as I try to understand what sweetness means to me, I can't help but think about what you think sweetness is. What does it really mean? What does it mean to you? Do you get it initially, or you don't? Or do you think sometimes a crap on a bag is some bullshit? What is it that you find sweetness in? So, with that being said, let's taste this coffee. Let's see if we can actually taste sweetness. Soft. The acidity is soft. It's mellowed out at 190 degrees. That's what happens usually when you're trying to get as much sweetness as possible. At least that's what I think, especially in the lighter roast. Some people like 212 degrees or 100 degrees Celsius. You know, I do like a lot lower temperature for a lighter roast. I love a lower temperature in general. Anything to carve out, to put at bay to an extent the acidity. Because I get that all the time, because it's coffee, right? You're going to get some form of acidity. Some coffees, you will get sweetness. I get that quite a bit when I'm dealing with like a Mexican coffee, with a Brazilian coffee, something that's a little bit towards the medium to dark roast rim. But not in a light roast. This is a light roast. This is a Peruvian coffee that I've drank from time to time. I'm actually drinking it right now as it pertains to a medium roast for another video for another day. But again, I don't want to leave you hanging. The question is, am I tasting sweetness out of this coffee? Out of this particular coffee right now? No, I'm not. It's more acidic than anything. It's less pronounced. It is relatively juicy. Is it sweet? No. Is it a bad coffee? No. But at least to me, I'm not tasting sweetness in this coffee. And that's perfectly fine. Because you're not going to get that balance all the time when you're actually drinking coffee, right? Sometimes it swings one way or the other. But let me kind of conclude this a little bit as we keep going about this whole thing about preferences and expectations and things that we're actually tasting. That Colombian shocked the fuck out of me because it was sweet all over the place. It was actually sweet in the lighter roast, of course in the medium roast, and in the dark roast. And that fruit and the juiciness of it was just, I just think about it every time. And now that I think about getting another bag of it, I kind of really don't want to do that. But I actually should do that just to see how much it has changed. See how much my palate has changed over the years. And to see if I can actually taste the same things or something totally different. It shocked me. It got me to think about what coffee is. What coffee can be. And am I missing that a little bit? Yeah, to an extent, but that's okay. We can continue to always try to chase this thing that we've had before or go on this new journey that we're trying to go on. But the reason why I really, truly love that coffee is because it showed me what sweetness was or is or whatever, how you may say that stuff, right? And it gave me a really good perspective on coffee. What it really truly means to drink coffee and enjoy it for what it is. Yeah, but I wish this lightly roasted coffee was sweet. A little bit more balance. Talking to me a little bit more. Well, that's fine. Probably on the next brew, different ratios and variations. Probably go a little bit finer or whatever. I'm getting that little grapefruity rind taste on the very tip of the aftertaste. But that's okay. It is what it is. But I think one thing that we can do when we are trying to find different flavors and tasting coffee is that we can do it with somebody else. Meaning that we either brew a cup with them and then we just talk about life, but more critically about that coffee. About what are you tasting? What is the balance for you? Are you tasting red fruit? Which red fruit are you talking about? Are you tasting a lemony acidity? Is it soft? Or does it remind you a little bit more of a underripe apple? Which apple? Fiji apple? Let's get more specific here. Let's talk about those flavors that we're actually tasting in that cup of coffee. And you have your way of kind of seeing it. I have my way of kind of seeing it. And then we can have a better understanding of what that person is perceiving as sweetness, as acidity, as balance, as whatever it may be for that person. And we can do the same thing for them. I think that would be cool. And that's how we can grow. But we can also learn that this is what this person sees. But again, getting back to the whole thing, it's about you, right? What do you say about sweetness? What do you think sweetness is to your palate? What does that really mean? Do you want balance? What does balance mean to you? Because we know acidity is there. It's there all day long. But sweetness, it's elusive, motherfucker. It really is. Shouldn't say that, but it's really elusive. So, what does that mean to you? This is Okie at Everyday Being signing off. I'll talk to you later. Bye.